Take your holiday green bean casserole from bland to brilliant with Hatfield Classic Cut Bacon. Start with your traditional casserole recipe. Then add a generous layer of crispy chopped Hatfield bacon on top. The rich, smoky flavor takes this holiday classic from side dish to showstopper. Your guests will savor the upgrade and return for seconds and even thirds. More holiday recipe inspiration awaits at simplyhatfield.com. Hatfield. Better care, better pork, better holidays.
December 24th, 2008. A red rental car pulled slowly into the driveway of 1129 East Knowcrest Drive in Covina, California. Christmas Eve, 11:30 p.m. The quiet suburban street was decorated with holiday lights, nativity scenes, and inflatable Santas waving cheerfully from front lawns. Inside the modest Ortega family home, 25 relatives had gathered for their annual Christmas Eve celebration. Children ran through their rooms in holiday pajamas. Adults played poker around the dining room table, laughing and sharing stories. The smell of traditional Mexican food filled the air, mixed with the scent of pine from the Christmas tree. It was exactly the kind of warm, multi-generational celebration that represents the best of the holiday season. Families coming together, creating memories, celebrating love. What nobody inside that house knew was that outside, a 45-year-old man was stepping out of his rental car, adjusting his oversized Santa suit, and checking his multiple concealed weapons one final time. What they couldn't have imagined was that Bruce Jeffrey Pardo, an ex-husband, an aerospace engineer, a seemingly ordinary suburban man, was about to transform Christmas Eve into a scene from hell. Because in his arms, wrapped like a Christmas gift, was a homemade flamethrower. In his mind was a plan 6 months in the making, and in his heart was a rage so consuming that it would drive him to murder 9 innocent people, including children, on the holiest night of the year. Intent. It's what separates a moment of anger from premeditated murder, passion from calculated revenge, a broken man from a monster. It is not the act itself, but the intent behind it that makes it a crime. Today on Deadly Intent, we're examining the Covina Christmas Massacre, a case that reveals how financial resentment, wounded pride, and narcissistic rage can metastasize into unthinkable evil. We'll explore the psychology of a man who didn't just want to hurt his ex-wife. He wanted to erase everything she loved from existence. Because the question that haunts everyone who studied this case isn't just what Bruce Pardo did on that Christmas Eve. It's why a man could plan for months to destroy an entire family, and how someone's need for revenge could become so twisted that even children became acceptable targets. I'm Carmen Carrion, and if you know me from Freaky Folklore or Destination Terror, you know I've spent years studying monsters, folklore creatures, cryptids, spirits, legends. But the truth is, the most horrifying monsters aren't hiding in shadows or ancient forests. Sometimes they're sitting across from you in divorce court. Sometimes they're dressed as Santa Claus. Sometimes they look so ordinary that no one sees them coming. Welcome back to Deadly Intent, where we don't just talk about crime. We talk about motive, psychology, and the invisible fractures in seemingly normal lives that can hide extraordinary darkness. Today's case is one of the most shocking family annihilation cases of the 21st century. The Christmas Eve massacre that left 9 members of the Ortega family dead and shattered a community's sense of safety forever. This is not a story about a crime of passion. This is not a story about someone who just snapped. This is a story about methodical planning, narcissistic entitlement, and a man who believed his financial comfort was worth more than human lives. Understanding Bruce Pardo isn't about excusing him. It's about exposing the kind of toxic masculinity and financial controlling behavior that can escalate into mass murder. Because the real question here isn't what he did. It's why a man who appeared to have everything chose to destroy an entire family rather than simply pay spousal support. Bruce Jeffrey Pardo was born on March 23, 1963, in the San Fernando Valley, a middle-class kid who grew up during the height of American optimism. The 1970s and 80s promised that hard work and education would lead to the American dream: a house, a career, a family, financial security. And by all external measures, Bruce achieved that dream. He graduated from John H. Francis Polytechnic High School in Sun Valley, earned his degree from California State University Northridge, and built what appeared to be an impressive career trajectory as an electrical engineer and software developer. His resume read like a success story: the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in La Canada Flint Ridge, where rocket scientists and aerospace engineers work on missions to Mars. Northrop Grumman was one of the world's largest defense contractors. ITT Corporation, a Fortune 500 technology company. These weren't just jobs. They were prestigious positions that required security clearances, advanced technical skills, and professional credibility. To his neighbors in San Fernando Valley, Bruce Pardo embodied quiet suburban success. He owned his own home, drove reliable vehicles, walked his dog through the neighborhood. He was the kind of man who said hello when you passed him on the street, who kept his lawn neat, who seemed to represent everything stable about middle-class American life. People who knew him casually described him with words like pleasant, quiet, polite. He was active in his local parish church, serving as a volunteer usher. He had no criminal record, no history of violence, no red flags that would have concerned employers or romantic partners. But beneath this carefully constructed facade of normalcy, Bruce Pardo harbored a psychological flaw that would eventually destroy multiple families: a complete inability to take responsibility for anyone other than himself. This wasn't mere selfishness or immaturity. This was something deeper and more dangerous, a fundamental belief that other people existed to serve his needs, and that their suffering was irrelevant as long as he remained comfortable. The first clear manifestation of this character defect emerged in the late 1990s, during Bruce's relationship with Elena Lucano. They were in what Elena's attorney would later describe as an off and on again relationship, the kind of unstable romantic dynamic that often signals deeper psychological issues. When Elena became pregnant, Bruce seemed to embrace the prospect of fatherhood. He was present during the pregnancy, involved in preparations, apparently committed to building a family. But as anyone who has studied narcissistic personality patterns knows, the initial enthusiasm of narcissists often masks a fundamental inability to sustain long-term emotional investments. Their son Matthew was born in 2000, and for the first year of his life, Bruce appeared to be a caring father. But on one Saturday afternoon in 2001, when Matthew was just 13 months old, everything changed. Elena had gone grocery shopping, a routine errand that should have taken no more than an hour. She left Matthew in Bruce's care, trusting that a 13-month-old child would be safe with his own father. When Elena returned, she found Bruce in a state of panic, frantically holding their unconscious son. Matthew had suffered what was described as a near-drowning incident, but the exact circumstances were never fully explained. Was it a bathtub accident? A swimming pool? Bruce's account was vague, inconsistent, and defensive. What was clear was the devastating result. Matthew had been deprived of oxygen long enough to cause severe, permanent brain damage. The bright, healthy toddler would never walk independently, never develop beyond the cognitive level of an infant. He would require round-the-clock care for the rest of his life. For most parents, this would be a devastating tragedy that would inspire a lifetime of dedication to their disabled child's care. The normal parental response would be guilt, determination to provide the best possible life for Matthew, and an unwavering commitment to taking responsibility for what had happened under their watch. Bruce Pardo's response revealed something profoundly disturbing about his character. He abandoned them completely. Not gradually, not reluctantly, not with apologies or attempts to maintain partial involvement. Bruce simply disappeared from Matthew and Elena's lives, as if they had never existed. When Elena sued him for child support, not for luxury, but for basic medical care and survival needs for their brain-damaged son, Bruce fought every attempt to hold him financially accountable. His homeowner's insurance policy eventually paid out $100,000 for the incident, but Elena had to file a lawsuit just to access those funds for Matthew's care. Elena's attorney, Jeffrey Alvarez, would later describe Bruce's behavior during this period. Once the settlement was reached in August 2002, Bruce stopped communicating completely and never saw Matthew or Elena again. But the most revealing aspect of Bruce's character came next. For 7 years after abandoning his brain-damaged son, Bruce continued claiming Matthew as a tax dependent, essentially profiting from the existence of a child he refused to support, visit, or acknowledge. This wasn't mere selfishness. This wasn't even ordinary deadbeat father behavior. This was something deeper and more disturbing. The psychology of someone who views other people, including his own disabled child, as resources to be exploited rather than human beings deserving of care. And this pattern, abandoning vulnerable dependents while continuing to extract financial benefit from them, would repeat itself throughout Bruce's life. It wasn't a mistake or a moment of weakness. It was his core personality in action. But in 2004, Bruce Pardo met someone who would change his life, Sylvia Ortega.
This podcast is brought to you by Kleenex Lotion Tissues. You can't predict sick days, but with Kleenex Lotion Tissues, you can be better prepared for them while helping keep your skin healthy. Whether it's a surprise sneeze or a stuffy nose, it's always good to have something gentle on hand. Kleenex Lotion Tissues moisturize to help prevent skin irritation while you're battling those unwanted cold and flu symptoms. It's extra care when you need it most. I mean, why not have one less thing to worry about when you're not feeling your best? For whatever happens next, grab Kleenex.
Before we continue with Bruce and Sylvia's relationship, I want to pause and examine the psychology we're already seeing, because understanding these patterns is crucial to understanding what happened on Christmas Eve. Financial control is one of the most powerful tools of psychological abuse. It's not just about money. It's about power, autonomy, and the ability to control another person's basic survival. When someone refuses to share financial responsibility for their own family, they're communicating something very specific. My comfort matters more than your basic needs. This mentality doesn't exist in isolation. People who withhold financial support from their own children, who refuse to contribute to household expenses, who see marriage as a way to access someone else's resources without reciprocating. These are people with profound empathy deficits. And here's what's crucial to understand. When these individuals face financial consequences for their behavior, like court-ordered child support or spousal support, they don't experience shame or motivation to change. They experience rage. Because in their minds, being held financially accountable isn't justice, it's theft. They genuinely believe they're the victims, and that sense of victimhood, combined with financial pressure, can create a dangerous psychological cocktail. Keep this in mind as we continue Bruce's story, because everything that happens next flows from this fundamental character flaw, his complete inability to see other people as anything more than obstacles to his own comfort. Sylvia Ortega was 39 years old when she met Bruce Pardo in 2004. She was a single mother of 3 children from previous relationships. Working as an administrative assistant at an ornamental nursery, she was looking for stability, partnership, someone to build a life with. To everyone who knew them, Bruce and Sylvia seemed like a good match. Bruce was financially stable, professionally successful, seemingly reliable. Sylvia was warm, family-oriented, hardworking. They married in January 2006, but almost immediately the marriage began to reveal Bruce's true character. First, Bruce refused to open a joint bank account with his new wife. He wanted complete control over his own finances, while expecting Sylvia to use her limited income to care for her 3 children, without any financial contribution from him. Second, Bruce had concealed the existence of his brain-damaged son from Sylvia. when she discovered not only that he had abandoned a disabled child, but that he was claiming that child as a tax dependent while providing no care. She was horrified. As Sylvia's best friend, Roxanne Jauregui would later tell reporters, he just changed. His personality changed. She didn't really feel like he loved her. He didn't care for her. Everything he wanted separate. Never really wanted to integrate their lives too much. By 2008, the marriage was clearly over. Sylvia filed for divorce on March 24, 2008, and that's when Bruce Pardo's true nature emerged. During divorce proceedings, Bruce told friends that Sylvia was taking him to the cleaners. In June 2008, a court ordered him to pay $1,785 per month in spousal support. Bruce's response was not compliance, but rage. As Roxanne Jauregui remembered, he just didn't want to pay. He did not want to pay. He just didn't. Not even a penny. But then, in July 2008, something happened that would escalate Bruce's fury to homicidal levels. He was fired from his job at ITT Corporation for fraudulent billing, for claiming hours he hadn't actually worked. Suddenly, Bruce faced the prospect of paying spousal support while unemployed. The court temporarily waived the payments due to his financial hardship, but Bruce would still owe $10,000 as part of the final settlement. For most people, losing a job would be motivation to find new employment and rebuild their life. For Bruce Pardo, it became justification for something unthinkable. Because in his mind, Sylvia wasn't just his ex-wife demanding fair financial treatment. She had become the symbol of everything that was wrong with his life. And if he couldn't control her through money, he would control her through fear. On December 18, 2008, Bruce and Sylvia's divorce was finalized. Bruce was required to pay the $10,000 settlement. Sylvia got to keep her wedding ring and the family dog. 6 days later, Bruce Pardo would turn Christmas Eve into a bloodbath.
Just got a new puppy or kitten. Congrats, but also, yikes. Between crates, beds, toys, treats, and those first few vet visits, you've probably already dropped a small fortune, which is where Lemonade Pet Insurance comes in. It helps cover vet costs so you can focus on what's best for your new pet. The coverage is customizable, sign-up is quick and easy, and your claims are handled in as little as 3 seconds. Pro tip, Lemonade offers a package specifically for puppies and kittens. Get a quote at lemonade.com/pet. Your future self will thank you. Your pet won't. They don't know what insurance is.
The Covina Christmas Massacre wasn't a spontaneous act of violence. It was the culmination of months of careful, methodical planning by a man who had decided that his financial convenience was worth more than human life. Understanding the timeline reveals the depth of his calculation and the cold-blooded nature of his intent. June 2008. Just weeks after being ordered to pay spousal support, Bruce begins purchasing firearms. Not one gun for protection or hunting, but multiple 9mm Sig Sauer handguns, weapons specifically chosen for their reliability and stopping power in close quarters combat. This isn't the behavior of someone planning suicide or making empty threats. This is tactical preparation. September 2008. Bruce contacts a costume company and orders a custom Santa suit in extra large size. When asked why he needs the larger size, he claims it's for comfort. The truth is more sinister. The oversized suit is specifically chosen to conceal multiple firearms and equipment. Even the Santa beard and hat are chosen to obscure his identity during the attack. October through November 2008. Bruce begins constructing his homemade weapon of mass destruction. Using a rolling air compressor, he creates a device capable of spraying racing fuel at high pressure, essentially a flamethrower designed to incinerate everything in an enclosed space. He test fires the device, perfecting its range and fuel capacity. December 2008, the final preparations intensify. Bruce rents multiple vehicles from different agencies, establishing escape routes throughout Los Angeles County. He purchases a Christmas morning plane ticket to Moline, Illinois, not to visit friends, but as part of an elaborate escape plan to disappear into the American heartland. During this same period, He withdraws $17,000 in cash and begins practicing the physical logistics of strapping money to his body without detection. He creates detailed maps showing routes from Covina to Mexico, calculating driving times and identifying border crossings that might be less heavily monitored. He also researches the location and schedule of Sylvia's divorce attorney, Scott Nord. Police would later find one of Bruce's rental cars parked near the attorney's office, fully supplied for an extraordinary journey. The implication is clear. The lawyer who had successfully represented Sylvia was also marked for death. December 24, 2008. Early evening. Bruce spends the day making final preparations. He loads his weapons, tests his equipment one final time, and ingests cocaine to enhance his aggression and suppress any remaining empathy. He dresses in normal clothes, planning to change into the Santa suit just before the attack. December 24, 2008, 11:30 p.m. Bruce arrives at 1129 East Knollcrest Drive in his rental car. The neighborhood is quiet, decorated with Christmas lights and holiday displays. Most families are either attending late Christmas Eve services or settling children down for Christmas morning. The Ortega family home is the only house on the block still fully lit and active. Through the windows, Bruce can see exactly what he's planning to destroy: a large, happy family celebration. Children running around in holiday pajamas, adults gathered around tables, talking and laughing. The warm glow of Christmas lights reflecting off wrapping paper and decorations. Inside the house, the annual Ortega family Christmas Eve party is following decades of tradition. Joseph and Alicia Ortega, the 80 and 70-year-old patriarch and matriarch, have spent days preparing traditional Mexican dishes. Their 5 adult children have all come home: Sylvia, James, Charles, Letitia, and Alicia. Sons-in-law and daughters-in-law have brought their own children, creating a multi-generational celebration of 25 people, ranging in age 8 to 80. The house smells like pozole, tamales, and fresh tortillas. Christmas music plays softly in the background, a mix of traditional carols and Mexican holiday songs. The adults have gathered around the dining room table for their traditional poker game, a Christmas Eve ritual that goes back decades. Children are running through the rooms, excited about Christmas morning, occasionally stopping to show grandparents their drawings or beg for hints about presents. Nobody suspects that outside, a man is putting on a Santa suit and checking his weapons one final time. When the doorbell rings at exactly 11:30 p.m., 8-year-old Katrina Yushapolsky, daughter of Letitia Ortega, is the first to hear it. Children always answer the door on Christmas Eve, hoping for last-minute visits from relatives or neighbors bringing holiday treats. Katrina runs to the front door and flings it open with the excitement only an 8-year-old can possess on Christmas Eve. When she sees Santa Claus standing on the porch, holding what appears to be a wrapped present, her face lights up with pure joy. "Santa Claus, Santa Claus!" she exclaims, loudly enough for the entire party to hear. For just a moment, the adults smile at her excitement, another magical Christmas Eve memory in the making. Bruce Pardo's response is to shoot her in the face. The sound of gunfire inside a family home during a Christmas Eve celebration is so unexpected, so contrary to everything the moment should represent, that many family members initially don't understand what they're hearing. The music, conversation, and laughter don't stop immediately. There's a moment of confusion where people think they've heard firecrackers or a car backfiring. But then Katrina's screams cut through everything else, and the horrible reality becomes clear. Someone is shooting at their family. The sound of gunfire shatters the holiday celebration. Family members initially don't understand what's happening. The music, laughter, and conversation suddenly replaced by screaming and chaos. Bruce enters the house and begins shooting systematically. He's not firing wildly. He's moving methodically through the rooms, shooting anyone he encounters. Sylvia's brothers, Charles and James Ortega, despite being shot and wounded, attempt to fight back. During the struggle, they realize who the attacker is, their former brother-in-law. But their injuries are too severe, and both men collapse as Bruce continues his rampage. When Bruce runs out of ammunition, he unwraps his Christmas gift, the homemade flamethrower. He begins spraying 18 gallons of gasoline throughout the house. Bruce's plan was to burn the house down with all the evidence inside. But there was an open flame somewhere in the house, possibly from the fireplace or Christmas candles. When the gasoline ignited, it created an explosion that engulfed Bruce himself in flames. The Santa suit melted onto his skin, causing third-degree burns over much of his body. His carefully planned escape was ruined. He was now severely injured and easily identifiable. Bruce fled the house and drove to his brother's home in Sylmar. At approximately 3:30 a.m. on Christmas morning, he shot himself in the head. Behind him, the Ortega family home continued to burn, with 9 people trapped inside.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here, wishing you a very happy half-off holiday, because right now Mint Mobile is offering you the gift of 50% off unlimited. To be clear, that's half price, not half the service. And Mint is still premium unlimited wireless for a great price. So that means a half day. Yeah? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Before we continue analyzing Bruce Pardo's psychology, it's crucial that we honor the 9 people whose lives he stole that night. These weren't just statistics. They were grandparents, parents, siblings, cousins, and children with their own dreams, personalities, and futures. Joseph Ortega, 80, and Alicia Ortega, 70, the family patriarchs who had hosted Christmas Eve celebrations for decades. They died in the home where they had created countless joyful memories. Sylvia Ortega Pardo, 43, Bruce's ex-wife, who died trying to rebuild her life after escaping an emotionally abusive marriage. Charles Ortega, 50, and his wife Sherry, 45, parents who fought back against the gunman despite being wounded, trying to protect their family. James Jr. Ortega, 52, and his wife Teresa, 51, another couple who died defending their loved ones. Alicia Ortega Ortiz, 46, Sylvia's sister, whose only crime was loving her family. Michael Ortiz, 17, Alicia's teenage son, who had his entire life ahead of him. 3 other family members were critically wounded but survived, including 8-year-old Katrina, who was shot in the face when she answered the door. 13 children lost one or both parents that night. An entire extended family was decimated because one man refused to accept financial responsibility for his choices. What Bruce Pardo did wasn't just murder, it was family annihilation. And understanding the psychology behind family annihilation is crucial to understanding how seemingly ordinary people can commit such extraordinary evil. Family annihilators share specific psychological characteristics. They are typically men who see their families not as individual human beings, but as extensions of themselves. When that family structure is threatened through divorce, financial pressure, or loss of control, these men don't just lose their families, they lose their entire sense of identity. FBI behavioral analysts later profiled Bruce Pardo and identified 2 key psychological factors: extreme narcissism and obsessive-compulsive disorder. This combination created a personality that demanded total control while being completely intolerant of frustration. When narcissists face consequences for their behavior, they don't experience shame or motivation to change. They experience what psychologists call narcissistic rage, a fury so complete that it overrides all moral constraints. But what makes family annihilators especially dangerous is that their rage isn't hot, it's cold. They don't kill in a moment of passion. They plan methodically, sometimes for months, to destroy not just their target, but everyone connected to that target. Bruce Pardo didn't just want Sylvia dead. He wanted to erase her entire support system, her entire family, everyone who had ever shown her love or loyalty. In his mind, if he couldn't possess her, then nobody should be allowed to love her either. This is why he didn't just shoot Sylvia and leave. This is why he brought enough ammunition and gasoline to kill dozens of people. This is why he chose Christmas Eve, when he knew the entire extended family would be gathered in one place. Bruce Pardo's crime wasn't about money, despite the financial disputes. It was about total domination, the ultimate expression of a controlling personality that would rather commit mass murder than accept that other people had the right to exist independently of his wishes. When the first Covina police officers arrived at 1129 East No Crest Drive at 11:45 p.m., they encountered a scene that would haunt them for the rest of their careers. The modest suburban home was fully engulfed in flames that reached high into the Christmas Eve sky, visible for miles around. Multiple 911 calls had come in within minutes of each other. Neighbors reporting gunfire, others reporting a house fire, and most chilling of all, survivors screaming for help. As Police Chief Camerini would later tell reporters, arriving officers were met with a scene that was just indescribable. The fire department was already en route, but the intensity of the blaze made immediate rescue impossible. The house had become an inferno so complete that firefighters couldn't get close enough to search for survivors. All they could do was try to contain the fire and prevent it from spreading to neighboring homes. In the chaos of evacuation, police initially struggled to determine exactly what had happened. Multiple injured people were fleeing the scene. Some shot, others burned, all traumatized beyond immediate coherent testimony. The first priority was getting survivors medical care and establishing a perimeter around what was clearly a crime scene. It was Leticia Ortega, one of Sylvia's sisters and among the few family members to survive, who provided the crucial identification. Despite the shock of losing most of her family and being injured herself, she was able to tell police exactly who had done this. It was Bruce, she told investigators. Bruce Pardo, Sylvia's ex-husband. Despite the Santa costume, the fake beard, and the chaos of the attack, she had recognized him immediately. This identification allowed police to immediately begin searching for Bruce, but they were already too late. While investigators were still trying to understand the scope of the massacre, Bruce was driving through the dark streets of Los Angeles County, his body racked with third-degree burns, heading toward his final destination. The explosion that had ruined Bruce's escape plan had also provided investigators with crucial evidence. The Santa suit had melted and fused to his skin, meaning he was leaving a trail of synthetic fabric and blood that could be forensically analyzed. His severe injuries also meant he couldn't travel far or fast. At approximately 3:30 a.m. on Christmas morning, Bruce's brother arrived at his Sylmar home to find Bruce's rental car in the driveway. When he went inside, he discovered Bruce's body in the living room, dead from a single self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. The brother immediately called police, but he was as shocked as anyone else by what had transpired. "We never saw this coming," he would later tell reporters. "We never thought this would ever happen. We want to tell the families how sorry we are." The investigation that followed revealed the shocking extent of Bruce's preparation and the calculated nature of his crime. He spent 6 months acquiring weapons and planning the attack. He ordered a custom Santa suit specifically to conceal multiple firearms. He rented multiple vehicles for escape routes. He parked one rental car near Sylvia's divorce attorney's house, suggesting the lawyer was also a target. He purchased a plane ticket to Moline, Illinois, for Christmas morning. He strapped $17,000 in cash to his body. He created detailed maps of escape routes to Mexico. He booby-trapped his rental car with explosive devices. Perhaps most chilling, investigators discovered that Bruce had planned to kill his own mother if she had attended the party, because she had sided with Sylvia's family during the divorce. Fortunately, she had the flu and stayed home. The medical examiner found cocaine in Bruce's system at the time of the attack and his suicide, suggesting he had used drugs to enhance his aggression and suppress any remaining empathy. The bodies found in the house were so severely burned that dental records were required for identification. The heat had been so intense that it took days to recover all the remains. The community of Covina, a quiet suburban town of about 50,000 people, was devastated. This was the kind of place where families felt safe hosting large holiday gatherings, where neighbors knew each other, where mass murder seemed impossible. The surviving family members, including Sylvia's 3 children from previous relationships, were left to rebuild their lives after losing almost their entire extended family in a single night. One of the most important questions about cases like this is whether the violence could have been predicted or prevented. Because while Bruce Pardo had no criminal record and no history of physical violence, there were warning signs if people knew what to look for. First, there was his pattern of abandoning vulnerable dependents. Anyone who walks away from a brain-damaged child and continues to exploit that child financially is demonstrating a profound lack of empathy. Second, there was his extreme financial control during marriage, refusing to share bank accounts while expecting a spouse to support children independently isn't just stinginess, it's psychological abuse. Third, there was his reaction to financial accountability. Instead of accepting court-ordered support as a natural consequence of marriage and divorce, he treated it as theft and expressed rage about being taken to the cleaners. Fourth, there was his job loss due to fraudulent billing, showing a pattern of dishonesty and entitlement that extended beyond personal relationships. Fifth, and perhaps most important, there was his complete emotional detachment. Friends and family described him as increasingly withdrawn, secretive, and obsessed with a divorce settlement. None of these factors alone predict mass murder, but together, they paint a picture of someone whose entire sense of self was built around control, and who was psychologically incapable of accepting responsibility for his choices. The tragedy is that the legal system worked exactly as it should. Sylvia got her divorce. She got financial support. She was rebuilding her life. But the system couldn't protect her from someone who believed his own convenience mattered more than other people's right to exist. This case highlights a crucial truth about domestic violence. It's not always about physical abuse. Sometimes it's about financial control, emotional manipulation, and a fundamental belief that other people exist to serve your needs. And when that control is threatened, the most dangerous abusers don't just hurt their primary target, they destroy everything that target loves. Before we close today's episode, I want to take a moment to step away from the psychology of the perpetrator and focus on the people whose lives were stolen. Because in cases like this, it's easy for victims to become overshadowed by the analysis of their killer. The Ortega family wasn't perfect, because no family is, but they were a close-knit Mexican-American family who had worked hard to build stable lives in a middle-class suburb. They were the kind of family that gathered every Christmas Eve to maintain traditions, create memories, and show their children the importance of extended family bonds. Joseph and Alicia Ortega had been married for decades and had built a life centered around their children and grandchildren. Their annual Christmas Eve party was legendary in the neighborhood, a warm, welcoming celebration that sometimes included neighbors and friends who didn't have family nearby. Sylvia Ortega Pardo was described by friends as someone who was finally finding happiness after escaping an emotionally abusive marriage. She was planning to start fresh in 2009, possibly moving to Nevada with her best friend to begin a new chapter. The Ortega brothers, Charles and James, died trying to protect their family. Despite being shot, they fought back against an armed gunman because they couldn't bear to watch their loved ones be murdered. 17-year-old Michael Ortiz was just months away from graduating high school. He had plans, dreams, a future that was stolen because his aunt had married the wrong man. 8-year-old Katrina survived being shot in the face, but she will live with physical and emotional scars for the rest of her life. She answered the door expecting Santa Claus, and instead met a monster. These were real people with real lives that mattered. They deserved to grow old, to see grandchildren graduate, to celebrate many more Christmas Eves together. Their lives had meaning beyond the way they ended, and that meaning should never be forgotten. The Covina Christmas Massacre forces us to confront an uncomfortable truth about domestic violence and financial abuse. The most dangerous moment isn't always during the relationship. It's often after the victim tries to leave. Bruce Pardo didn't become violent until he faced financial consequences for his behavior. As long as he could control Sylvia through emotional manipulation and financial withholding, he was content to maintain the facade of normalcy. But when the legal system held him accountable, when he was ordered to pay spousal support, when his financial control was stripped away, that's when his true nature emerged. This case teaches us several crucial lessons. Financial control is a form of abuse, and people who engage in it often escalate when that control is threatened. The absence of a criminal record doesn't mean someone isn't dangerous. It may just mean they haven't been caught or held accountable yet. People who abandon vulnerable dependents are demonstrating a profound character defect that often predicts future callousness. Extreme reactions to financial accountability, treating court orders as theft rather than justice, can be a warning sign of dangerous thinking. Family annihilators don't just target their primary victim. They destroy entire support systems because their goal is total domination. But here's what matters most. Understanding these patterns doesn't excuse them. Explaining Bruce Pardo's behavior isn't the same as justifying it. Recognizing psychological red flags doesn't diminish accountability. Bruce Pardo made a choice, not in a moment of passion, but through months of cold calculation. He chose his financial comfort over 9 innocent lives. He chose his wounded pride over the safety of children. He chose revenge over accepting responsibility. And that choice, that intent, is what makes his actions unforgivable. The monster isn't the one who gets angry. The monster is the one who decides that anger justifies destroying everyone who has ever threatened their control. Bruce Pardo was that monster, and on Christmas Eve 2008, he turned a family celebration into a holocaust because he believed his own comfort mattered more than human life. I'm Carmen Carrion, and this has been Deadly Intent. If this case has affected you, please reach out to someone you trust. If you or someone you know is experiencing financial abuse or domestic violence, resources are available through the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. The monsters in folklore are fiction. The monsters in our communities are real. And sometimes the most dangerous ones hide behind the most ordinary facades, behind professional success, suburban respectability, and even Santa suits. The Ortega family deserved better. They deserve to celebrate many more Christmas Eves together. They deserve to live. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay safe, and remember, intent reveals everything.
Are you ready to finally make that dream a reality? Maybe it's updating your kitchen, paying down high-interest credit cards, or covering tuition. Your home is more than where you live. It's also your most powerful asset. At Unlock, we make it simple to turn equity into options. With a home equity agreement, you can access cash today without taking on monthly payments. Imagine the freedom to invest in your home, reduce financial stress, or finally start that big project you've been putting off. It's your home. It's your future. Unlock it today. Visit unlock.com to learn more about a home equity agreement. That's unlock.com to learn more.
Terms and conditions apply. Not all homeowners will qualify. Not available in all states. Actor Portrayal. Home equity agreements are offered by Unlock Home Equity Solutions, Inc. In certain states, NMLS number 2657081. Visit www.consumeraccess.org for more info.